You don't always have to pass values to functions. So sometimes functions don't have any input parameters. In C, the call to the function must have parentheses, but they're going to be empty because you're not passing anything. The function header and the function prototype, however, would have the word void inside of the parentheses instead of parameter declarations or the parameter type list. So don't confuse that with a void function that has void at the beginning of the function header. In this case, if we don't have input parameters, we have the word void inside of the parentheses in the function header and the function prototype. So here's an example. This is just the beginning of a program. So this is just the part that prints instructions. So we would have other stuff in the program, but this is just the beginning to show an example of a function that doesn't have any input. So in main, I might have a call to the function printins, short for print instructions. So that's going to call this function. It's void here in parentheses because I'm not passing anything to the function. All the function is doing is it's just printing out some instructions. So it's printing, this program will calculate the area of a circle, the units will be inches, when prompted please enter a radius in inches, etc. So it's just printing out some instructions, and then later on we would actually prompt the user and do something with the information. But this is just a function that prints some instructions. So the call to the function is a statement because the function isn't returning anything, and that has nothing to do with the fact that we have void in here. So we have void in two locations. This void is because we don't pass any parameters to the function, and this void is because the function is not returning anything. So the function prototype also, the type is void because it's not returning anything. We have the name of the function, and void in parentheses because we're not passing any input arguments. So again, we can have void for two separate reasons. We can also have a function without input parameters, but the function still returns something. So here's an example of a function that is a float function. It returns a float. The name of it is rand. So what it's doing is it's going to return an area of a circle that has a random radius. And it's void. We're not passing anything to the function. So instead of parameter declarations here, we have the word void. So again, the type of the function is float. This is a float function, but we don't have any input parameters. Because what we're going to do is declare a local variable radius and then create a random value for the radius and then return the area of a circle that has that random radius. So we have a return statement. The return is returning something of the type float. But again, we're not passing anything to the function, so we have void in parentheses. So there's not necessarily any correspondence between the type of the function and whether or not we have any input parameters.